Part 127. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1261. Sikonyuksen felt a powerful pressure, which she had only felt on the goddess. Could it be, could she really provoke a terrifying existence? Is this the same powerful true God as the goddess? Then didn't she provoke the great true God? Will she be beheaded for this, and her signs of life die out? Will her life end there? Sikonyuksen felt that her mind was in a mess, and her whole body was in an inexplicable state of ignorance. Call. This thing, you should drink it? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, then shouted angrily, rushed forward, took the small jade bottle in Sikonyuksen's hand, and poured it all into her mouth in her startled eyes. Want to kill me? You're not qualified. Come in. The portal of the Shushan Pavilion. Open. Fang Fan moved and dragged Sikonyuksen directly into the small world of Shushan Pavilion, where Fang Fan can control everything. He is the true god of the Shushan Pavilion world. In this, what he wants to do with Sikonyuksen is entirely up to his will. Don't. I want. Sikonyuksen, who was cold as ice, suddenly moved from a distance in Fang Fan's arms. Although she could still feel the indifference on her body, there seemed to be a sense of agitation all over her body. Is it the effect of the liquid in the small jade bottle just now? Sikonyuksen said just now that it's a chaotic situation, and I still want to use this thing to control me. Derching is the kind of medicine for spring love. Fang Fan pouted, his face casual and calm. But looking at Sikonyuksen's self-inflicted appearance, Fang Fan felt inexplicably happy. This feeling of coolness seems very real. I want an antidote. An antidote. An antidote. Sikonyuksen frantically tugged at the clothes on her body, revealing large areas of snow-white skin. Her whole body was extremely red, and her complexion was so rosy that it was about to drip blood. But at this moment, she still retains the last sanity. She took out a small red bottle from the storage ring. According to what she said, this should be the antidote to this disorder. Sikonyuksen shook her hands, opened the cork of the red bottle with excitement, and was about to drink it. Boom! At this moment, Fang Fan stepped forward and kicked the red jade bottle in her hand casually. The jade bottle fell to the ground and shattered directly, and strands of bright red liquid gradually leaked out. The antidote is completely exhausted. Sikonyuksen was stunned for a moment, the killing intent in his eyes was completely condensed. You, what are you doing? Asshole! Asshole! You bastard! What the hell are you trying to do? My antidote, I only have such a bottle of antidote. I'm going to die, I'm going to die. This is Chowching powder prepared by Yao's Hung, there is no antidote, only the yin and yang intercourse can only survive. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Sikonyuksen's eyes showed a look of horror, her hands touched the fragments of the red bottle on the ground, and her lips could not help but tremble. This sense of panic in my heart is extraordinarily real. The antidote is gone. If you want to dissolve the toxin of chaos, you can only find a man to have yin and yang sex. Around here, it seems that there is only a man like Fang Fan. Sikonyuksen took a few quick breaths, then looked at Fang Fan expectantly. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 1262. Let's get to Elysium early. Let's go together, give me, I want it. Sikonyuksen rushed towards Fang Fan excitedly, running faster and faster, but with fewer and fewer clothes on her body. Fang Fan frowned slightly, what is this, a hug? Am I so casual? Go away. Fang Fan frowned and said angrily. Although Sikonyuksen is indeed very beautiful, the face under the veil is pitiful, tender, and attractive, but so what? How could he be fooled by the beauty of Fang Fan's arrogance? Immediately without hesitation, he kicked out with one kick, kicking Sikong Yuxin out very far. Between love beasts and love beasts, Fang Fan's choice has always been so firm. What? I can't take it anymore. I want to go back. Come out for me. Sikong Yuxin suddenly gritted his teeth and said a few words, and then his body trembled several times. What's wrong with me? I feel terrible. Fellow deist Fang Fan, you are here too. What the hell happened to me? At this moment, although Sikong Yuxin's face is still crimson, her body is shaking slightly, and her face is overflowing with spring emotion, but the indifference in her eyes has disappeared, replaced by confusion and tenderness. Fang Fan blinked. At one point he thought if he was wrong. But through careful observation, Fang Fan found that this was indeed the case, and he really did not see it wrong. Sikong Yuxin. Stop pretending in front of me. Didn't you want to yell at me before? Now you know that it's close to calling Fang Fan Taoist friend. Unfortunately, it's too late. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and looked extraordinarily determined. He has never been the kind of casual person. Friend Fang Fan, before my dark personality appeared, she is going to persecute, I can't control, I'm sorry. Fang Fan, I really treat you as a friend. Please kill me. I've taken Chao Ching San, and the antidote is gone. If this goes on, I'll just die from exhaustion. Sikong Yuxin shook his head slightly, then smiled miserably. Fang Fan fell into a state of comprehensive thinking. Dark personality? The previous one was the dark personality? Is this a bright personality? Are these two different personalities? How could two such disparate personalities be able to stay in the same body at the same time? Fang Fan only felt 10,000 grass and mud horses galloping past in his mind. After so many years of debut, all ethnic groups have seen it, but people with two personalities like this are really rare. Right now Fan can't even confirm the authenticity of what Sikong Yuxin said. But letting her die like this is not in Fang Fan's vested interests. After all, Fang Fan still has to subdue this divine power fit. Besides, if there really exist two personalities of Sikong Yuxin, then if he leaves it alone, wouldn't he kill the bright version of Sikong Yuxin's personality together? Killing innocents indiscriminately is not Fang Fan's nature. I can help you. Fang Fan shrugged and strode forward. Move the creation point to remove the abnormal state on her body. Fang Fan secretly said in his heart. Ding. It takes 1 billion creation points. Ding. The creation point is not enough to declare failure. Fang Fan. Is the current Genesis point depreciating too much, and the Genesis points can easily be over 1 billion, who can withstand this? A creation point is equivalent to a trace of faith, and he really can't get 1 billion. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1263. I'm so uncomfortable. Friend Fang Fan, save me. I beg you. Sikong Yuxin directly pounced on Fang Fan, and then pressed Fang Fan under him with an extremely tyrannical attitude. Fang Fan's mouth twitched. Was he pushed back? I am a man. It's shameful, isn't it? Hey, it's better to save a life than to build a 7th level pagoda. I'm so hard. I really don't want this, my conscience really can't get through. Fang Fan sighed with emotion, then took the sky as the quilt and the ground as the bed, silently lifted Sikong Yuxin's white veil, and a beautiful face appeared in front of Fang Fan's eyes. The skin is thick and fat, the eyelashes are long and narrow, the face with a slight blush is infinitely warm, and the pair of beautiful eyes are full of extreme tenderness. Fang Fan exhaled, and couldn't help but feel a sense of joy. 3 hours later, Sikong Yuxin's condition improved slightly, and the flushing feeling on his body also subsided a lot. Fang Fan danced, thank you. Sikong Yuxin subconsciously leaned her head against Fang Fan's chest, feeling inexplicably sweet in her heart. Fang Fan was stunned for a moment, then raised his head and lightly touched Sikong Yuxin's jet black hair. At this moment, Fang Fan really didn't know how to face Sikong Yuxin. Although it is said to save people, but what should happen still happens. Don't. At this moment, a struggling expression suddenly appeared on Sikong Yuxin's face. Fang Fan frowned, and quickly looked over. Damn! How dare you blaspheme the body of this goddess? Die! You must die! You kill yourself! Only when you kill yourself can I stay holy forever. You die! Why don't you die? Sikong Yuxin's temperament has changed greatly. Fang Fan knew that this was the dark personality occupying the body again. Let me die. You don't have this qualification yet. Return your body, otherwise, I'm welcome to you. Fang Fan's eyes were full of killing intent. Ha ha ha. Yuxin. It's so affectionate. What? Do you feel bad for that bitch? You have the ability to kill me? Kill me, and your lovely Yuxin will die too. Shall we die together? The dark personality Sikong Yuxin showed a vicious look on his face, as if he still felt that he must have settled for Fang Fan. Fang Fan couldn't help showing a sneering look on his face. Kill you? Isn't it too cheap for you? Since you have to occupy your body, then I can completely humiliate you. I haven't had enough fun just a few hours ago. I was worried that Yuxin couldn't bear it, but now you're here, just right. Fang Fan bared his teeth and grinned, then he stopped by the waist and picked up the dark personality Sikong Yuxin, pressing him under his body viciously. What do you want to do? Are you crazy? I'll kill you if you touch my finger. Ah, don't. I do not want it. The dark personality Sikong Yuxin roared loudly, but unfortunately, it was meaningless. Under the control of Fang Fan, he quietly left in an hour. For an entire hour, the dark personality Sikong Yuxin was roaring frantically, uttering a Hessian roar, and the roar became more and more shrill. Finally, his voice became hoarse. Originally, the dark personality Sikong Yuxin had lost his eyes, but suddenly, there was a glint in his eyes. Fang Fan. You are dead. Your Majesty the Goddess. I will kill you completely. The dark personality Sikong Yuxin screamed in surprise, and then his body began to tremble wildly. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1264. Fang Fan put his hands on Sikong Yuxin's body, a look of stunned expression on his face. Interesting, really interesting. Are you still struggling? Just struggling to the end, determining meaning and value? Humble ants. You are blaspheming my goddess. Kneel down. Cut yourself. In front of the goddess of the starry night, you dare to be presumptuous. One after another ethereal female voice completely burst open in Fang Fan's ear. Fang Fan's ear began to crack in an instant, and a trace of blood began to flow out. At this moment, Sikong Yuxin's eyes gradually became cold, and her face became more and more proud. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and a gleam of light flickered in his eyes. Goddess of the starry night? Is this the consciousness of the real gods? The consciousness of the true God descended on Sikong Yuxin? Although everything in front of him seems a little weird, Fang Fan is still happy to believe everything in front of him. Real, and pure. Fang Fan silently wiped the blood from his ears, and an evil smile appeared on his face. Goddess. A goddess who is aloof. Your tone is full of endless arrogance and indifference. In front of you, I am indeed an ant. Even, I can't make you pay attention for a moment. Is that why you want to take my life away? Murderers, people will always kill them. The taste of the goddess, this is the first time I have enjoyed. Since you're here, don't leave so easily. Fang Fan walked forward silently and grabbed Sikong Yuxin with both hands. At this moment, Sikong Yuxin is controlled by the consciousness of the goddess of the starry night. They come, the security. Damn ants. A lowly lowlife. You actually disobeyed this goddess's orders. Then you, go to hell. The power of the starry night, come down completely. Kill this blasphemer in front of you. Let him die completely. I want his soul to be wiped out, and he will never be supernatural. Death, this is the only foregone conclusion. Let him perish completely. The goddess of the starry night controlled Sikong Yuxin and began to sing loudly, and the surrounding wisps of divine power gathered frantically, and the sky seemed to turn dark in an instant. If you came in person, I might still covet some, but now, this is the Shushan Pavilion world. I am the eternal god here. Destroy. Fang Fan snorted coldly and directly consumed a wave of creation points, dissipating the divine power in the sky, and the dark sky returned to light in an instant. No. It's impossible. How can you interfere with my divine power? My divine power can only be annihilated unless it is a true god. Who are you? The starry night goddess's eyes tightened for a while, seeming to be a little surprised. Who am I? Am I not the humble ant in your eyes? Today, can the humble ants play with the great goddess at will? Fang Fan showed a sneering look in his eyes, and immediately pressed directly on the goddess of the starry night. Go to hell. The explosion of divine power. The starry night goddess is still struggling, of course, her struggles are destined to be ineffective. My divine power, is imprisoned. This is impossible. Let go of me. Let me go. I am the goddess of the starry night. You dare to blaspheme the goddess. The starry night goddess kept struggling, she was occupying Sikong Yuxin's body at the moment. So, even if I blaspheme, what can I do? At this moment, do you have any ability to resist? I'm just taking the way of others to treat people's bodies, what? This is unbearable. This is just the beginning. Fang Fan's eyes showed sarcasm. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1265. Only state officials are allowed to set fires, and people are not allowed to light lamps. In Shushan Pavilion, Fang Fan controls everything. Probably feeling the madness in Fang Fan's eyes, the starry night goddess fell silent for a while. Immediately, he began to struggle frantically, preparing to extract his consciousness from Sikong Yuxin's body. Is it too late to go now? There must be some memory left, right? The evil smile at the corner of Fang Fan's mouth became more and more obvious, and his gaze towards the goddess of the starry night showed extreme greed. You, what do you want to do? Let me go. Let me go now. I am the goddess of the starry night. I am the mighty goddess of the starry night. You are doing this, you are seeking your own death. Let go of me, let me go. You, calm down. You'll regret it, if you do this, I won't let you go. What? One after another shrill voices came, and the hoarse roar lasted for a full 5 hours this time. I don't know why, after knowing that the consciousness of this body is the goddess of the starry night, Fang Fan felt inexplicably motivated, so the fighting power lasted a bit. The state shown this time has fully demonstrated this. At this moment, the goddess of the starry night has already lost her eyes. She is dirty. Contaminated by the lowest life in her eyes. In the later stage, she actually cooperated with shame, and made a shameful cry. Even in the end, all kinds of shameful actions were forced to be put out. The goddess of the starry night wiped the white liquid flowing from her mouth, her eyes lost for a while. Today she has learned a lot of new knowledge. And these were things she had never been in contact with before. Although this body is not hers, but the consciousness is hers, and she can vividly remember all the previous feelings. In the end, Fang Fan raised his hand and dissipated the power of imprisonment. The goddess of the starry night raised her head silently, her delicate body trembling slightly. Immediately, without saying a word, he directly pulled away the consciousness and left the endless heavens, in a certain temple. The goddess of the starry night trembled frantically, her face flushed red, her hands kneaded around her body, and she felt an unbearable itching sensation all over her body. Fang Fan! Fang Fan! This goddess will kill you. I will kill you. Convey my order to kill. Kill, kill, kill. There were roars in the palace of the starry night goddess. While shouting, they were still gnashing their teeth frantically. This sense of resentment was particularly strong. Of course, Fang Fan just felt a little tired at the moment, and fell asleep happily. When he woke up, he found that Sikong Yuxin was holding his head and harassing his nose back and forth with his hair. Yuxin. Fang Fan tried to ask a question. Well, it's me. Sikong Yuxin nodded with a soft look in his eyes. Obviously, Sikong Yuxin with a bright personality is occupying his body at the moment. Sikong Yuxin wanted to stand up while talking. Sikong Yuxin suddenly cried out in pain, struggled several times, but still failed to stand up. Fang Fan's attack power was too strong before, so she hasn't fully recovered yet. Fang Fan couldn't help showing an embarrassed look on his face, and quickly handed over an Emperor-level healing card. Cough, heal the injury first, don't move easily. By the way, Yuxin, how can your other dark personality be completely suppressed? Fang Fan secretly frowned, then asked. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1266. Fang Fan recognized Sikong Yuxin with a bright personality. As for the dark personality Sikong Yuxin, it is too dangerous, and a killing may be launched at every turn. In this case, Fang Fan felt that it was still necessary to carry out a wave of protection. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of what happens. I don't know, maybe I took advantage of it when my consciousness was weak. Sikong Yuxin shook his head, looking a little helpless. Immediately, she put the Emperor-level healing card back into Fang Fan's hand. This card is useless to me, I have a card myself. Sikong Yuxin said, and then took out a quasi-saint level healing card. Fang Fan was stunned for a moment. Is Sikong Yuxin a quasi-sage? Isn't this span a bit big? Seemingly feeling the consternation in Fang Fan's eyes, Sikong Yuxin immediately smiled and said, low-level quasi-sanctuary is nothing. After using the quasi-saint level healing card, Sikong Yuxin's state was obviously much better. Then she silently raised her head to look at Fang Fan. Are you going to kill me? Sikong Yuxin couldn't help showing a look of sadness on her face. After all, there was another demon hidden in her body, and Fang Fan and her other consciousness were already in a relationship of endless joy. Kill. Why did I kill you? Would you like to serve me and become my person? In this life, I will protect you. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and looked at Sikong Yuxin sincerely. What happened in these 10 hours was not something he could refuse to admit if he wanted to. Fang Fan's eyes turned to see Plum Blossom's bloodstain on the side, and his eyes could not help but become more silent. He knew what he had done. He's not the kind of scumbag who doesn't take responsibility for wearing pants. and, Sikong Yuxin's existence will make his power even stronger. On the one hand, the combat power of a low-level quasi-sage is not too weak, and on the other hand, it also involves the system task of conquering divine power. Fang Fan still couldn't give up the quota of 10 servant gods. Be yours. Who's yours? Your woman. Sikong Yuxin tilted her head, her eyes were incomparably crystal clear, appearing to be more and more thorough. Fang Fan's heart moved. Immediately, he stretched out his hand to wrap his arms around Sikong Yuxin's waist, and silently put that beautiful face in his arms. If you are willing to. I do. Before Fang Fan's words were finished, Sikong Yuxin replied directly. This speed made Fang Fan a little stunned. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully subduing Sikong Yuxin with extremely despicable means, and successfully completing the task subduing the divine power fitter. Ding. Now give out the quest reward, 10 more places for the gods and servants of the gods. The system task was successfully completed, but the dog system seems to be getting worse. What is meant by extremely despicable means? Am I being despicable? This is obviously self-denial. At that time, in order to save Sikong Yuxin, he had no choice but to sacrifice himself. Even Fang Fan himself was moved by this kind of selfless character. The dog system is really hard-hearted. But the task is completed, it is always a good thing. 10 places for the gods and servants of the gods, this wave is very comfortable. Fang Fan's eyes turned to Sikong Yuxin in his arms, appearing softer and softer. In this life, I will never put you in danger again. I'll do my best to help you solve another personality. Fang Fan made a promise, and the promise is all gold. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1267. At this moment, Fang Fan has been in the small world of Shushan Pavilion for more than 10 hours. Fang Fan preliminarily estimated that the 7-day time limit of Chentian Secret Realm is not too long. The Chentian Secret Realm can only be opened for 7 days at a time. After 7 days, the Chentian Secret Realm will naturally be completely closed. Fang Fan squinted his eyes secretly, and it was time to go out for the last gamble. After more than 10 hours, I don't know what happened in the Chentian slaughtering array, or 10,000 Chentian tokens have already been gathered, and the Chentian slaughtering array is already a decoration? Fang Fan pondered to himself, and these thoughts gradually took shape in his mind. Fang Fan's thoughts moved, and he directly brought Sikong Yuxin to the Chentian killing array. Lord! Lord, you are finally back. Lord, how are you? The crowd gathered around. Fang Fan glanced at him. In addition to seeing a group of light machine gunners, there was also Galen Kale, but the expressions on their faces at the moment seemed a little dignified. What happened? Fang Fan frowned and looked at Galen. If nothing happened, Galen wouldn't have this expression. Yes, it was the mistress of Chen Tianqi and Miss Chen Tianshan who were held hostage by the practitioners of the Chen Tian clan. Lord, Galen is incompetent. Please punish me. Galen gritted his teeth, his head touched the ground, and a streak of bright red blood came out. One can imagine how heavy his heart was at this moment. Lord, Kyle is also incompetent. As Galen knelt down, the hero Kyle also knelt down with a heavy face. Fang Fan sighed, he knew that Galen and Kyle must have done their best. Some things can't be done with the best effort. Among the practitioners of the Chen Tian clan, there are also many masters. With Galen and Kyle, it is not easy to break out of the siege. As for rescue Chen Tianqi and Chen Tianshan, it is indeed a bit difficult. Lord, Chen Tianji of the Chen Tian clan said, let you go there alone, otherwise, or they will, kill Mistress Chen Tianxi and Miss Chen Tianshan. Galen gritted his teeth, and the grief and anger on his face were very obvious. But at the moment it seems a little hesitant. Lord, don't be fooled by them. Mother Chen Tianji and Miss Chen Tianshan are both princesses of the Chen Tian clan, and Chen Tianj is just the son of the great worship of the Chen Tian clan. They must not dare to do anything to the mistress of Chen Tianji and Miss Chen Tianshan. If you really go there in person, you will really be fooled by them. Kyle gritted his teeth and quickly admonished. If it was before, they really didn't have this list. As for now, I'm afraid it's not necessarily. Fang Fan's eyes flickered with a gleam of brilliance. There must have been chaos in the Chen Tian clan, and it must have a great connection with the great worship of the Chen Tian clan. Otherwise, that Chen Tianj definitely doesn't have such guts. Now Sheer and Shanner are in danger. People who dare to touch me. Kill Washi. Fang Fan clenched his fist silently, killing intent in his eyes. He doesn't want to cause trouble, but that doesn't mean he's afraid of trouble. Lord, you really can't go alone. It's too dangerous. Otherwise, I will disguise myself as you and take a trip instead of you. I'm rough-skinned and thick-skinned, even if I get hurt a little bit. Galen thumped his chest, and then a determined smile appeared on his face. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1268. Who said I was going alone? Fang Fan chuckled lightly. Although he would not die on the spot if he went alone, he would not have any big results. What he wants to do is to destroy it completely. Total destruction. From Fang Fan's point of view, he must have such a will. And such a will is still going crazy. Fang Fan clenched his fist silently, killing, it's time to start. When the time comes, you will all hide in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. I will go there alone, and when I reach their core, I will release you and come to a flower in the middle. I think, that's going to be amazing. Fang Fan squirmed his lips, and his eyes flickered with bright lights. What should come will always come. The order. Assemble all the legions, heroes, and pets in the Chen Tian killing array. Come with me to kill. Let the crazy killing intent gather here. Fang Fan strode out, holding a golden card in his hand. Advanced sound card, if you are moved by your mind, spread it freely within 1,000 miles. Fang Fan put the golden high-level sound card in front of him, and then the corner of his mouth moved slightly. Gather. His voice was madly surging towards the surroundings by the advanced sound card, and the sound wave followed wave after wave, conveying thousands of miles away. As long as legionnaires, pets or heroes within 1,000 miles hear it, they will all gather here. This card was obtained by Fang Fan in the auction system, and it cost 50 star cores. But no matter how much you spend, it's worth it. Following Fang Fan's order, more and more legions, heroes, and pets gathered from all directions. At the same time, it also verified Fang Fan's assumption that all legions are a collective, because they have never been separated even if they entered the Chen Tian killing array. Lord. The 10 major legions have gathered. Lord. The 6 heroes have gathered. Lord, the 4 great pets have gathered. A loud voice came, and the smile on Fang Fan's face couldn't help but increase. With these foundations, why worry about the enemy? Who can be presumptuous in front of his invincible legion, heroes, and all kinds of pets? Are they qualified for this? No. They never have. In addition to these legions, heroes, and pets, Ziling, Yun Xiaoxiao and Nai Yan also arrived. The original group, except for Chen Tianqi, Chen Tianshan, and the hundreds of Chen Tian clan elites under their hands, the rest are here. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, it's time to execute the final plan. This battle is invincible. Combat power explodes. Before that, you can continue to strengthen a wave of combat power. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. Little Golden Dragon. Lord. Ao Guang, the little golden dragon, flew over directly, with an excited look on the dragon's face. You come to refine this sacred dragon soul. Go to the Shushan Pavilion world later and refine it as soon as possible. Remember, you can only stay in the area I told you to stay in, and go to other areas. The flow rate of time is 10 times that of the outside. Fang Fan specially reminded that Fang Fan controls the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and he often goes here to do some activities, but every time he spends a few hours inside, it may be several days outside. In order to avoid this feeling, Fang Fan specially chose to open up a special area in the small world of Shushan Pavilion, where the flow of time is connected with the main world. According to the Lord. Thank you, Lord. Xiao Jinlong Aoguang raised his head excitedly, and then respectfully took over the sanctuary dragon soul. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1269. This is the Sanctuary Dragon Soul formed by condensing the whole body of the Sanctuary True Dragon. In other words, it gathers most of the energy of the Sanctuary True Dragon. If it can devour all of it, it will surely guarantee a wave of cultivation. Naturally, this was something that excited Ao Guang. The reason why the Sanctuary Dragon Soul was used by the little golden dragon Ao Guang was mainly because their attributes were more compatible. True dragons have always been rebellious. If ordinary people came to refine the sacred dragon soul, they would be madly rejected. However, Xiao Jinlong already has the blood of a real dragon, so refining it should be less difficult and the benefits will be more. Besides that, when I completed the task of conquering divine power fitters before, I also rewarded 10 places for the servant gods of the gods. The role of the gods and servants of the gods is self-evident, although it is only a 10th grade, the effect is extraordinary. It's time to choose a servant god. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, glanced at the heroes and pets, and then squinted his eyes secretly. Golan and Vega already have god positions. If you want to seal them as servant gods of the wild gods, the original god positions will be wasted. It looks like there are only 4 heroes left, Kyle, Caitlyn, Daji and Jax. The other is Little Golden Dragon Ao Guang, Dark Knight Kylin, Hell's 3-headed dog Roaring Sky, Kunpeng Biming. If all of them are designated as servant gods of the wild gods, they will be able to directly consume the 8 servant god quotas. The remaining 2 servant god places will be sealed when a suitable one is found. Fang Fan thought to himself, and then a smile appeared on his face. Kyle. You are willing to be the servant of the gods. Have the same fate with me. Fang Fan held his head high and his eyes flickered. Lord. Kyle is willing. Although I don't know what the servant god is, it doesn't affect Kyle's infinite loyalty to Fang Fan. For her, even if Fang Fan let her die at this moment, she would not hesitate at all. This kind of command from the soul seems very real. Blessed Kyle as the servant god of the wild god. Fang Fan nodded, then no longer hesitated. Ding. The seal was successful. The system sound came from his ear. Fang Fan frowned, always feeling that something was not right. I don't need to consume the source power and the power of faith to seal the 10th level god position. Fang Fan frowned slightly, looking a little surprised. Ding. It takes 50 strands of God source power and 500,000 strands of faith to seal the 10th level God position. Ding. Since the gods and servants of the wild gods belong to the exclusive gods of the Supreme Host, there is no consumption in the process of sealing. The sound of the system came, and the corner of Fang Fan's mouth rose slightly. The dog system has gotten to know a lot recently. This wave is very cool without consumption. Although it is said that the power of the source of the gods and the power of faith required to seal the 10th level divine position is not a lot, but no matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat. Can save a little, is a little. Continue to seal. Caitlin. You are willing to be the servant of the gods of the gods. Have the same destiny with me. Lord, Caitlin is willing. Jax. Daji. Little Golden Dragon Ao Guang. Dark Knight Unicorn. The three-headed dog of hell roars. Kunpeng Biming. You are willing to serve the gods of the deserted gods? Have the same luck with my gods. Lord. We are willing. Edict. Ding. Successfully enshrine the eighth servant of the arrogant god. Ding. Successfully sealed. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 1270. After successfully sealing the 8 desolate gods and servants, Fang Fan's heart gradually settled down. The god of the gods is not about how much this god position can increase his own combat power, but more importantly, the ability to cooperate in combat. Fang Fan's eyes couldn't help but look at the introduction of the magic effect of the gods and servants of the gods. Origami God Disciple Special Effect 1, using Origami God's gift can achieve 10 times the effect. The second special effect of the gods of the wild gods, stand-in, you can become the stand-in for the gods of the gods at critical moments, resist the deadly attacks for the gods of the gods, and limit the range within 100 miles. The 3 special effects of the gods of the wild gods, the power can be forcibly extracted by the gods and added to the power of the gods, or it can be given the supreme power by the gods. Needless to say about the first magical effect, the tenfold effect of the blessing of the arrogant god, the effect will definitely explode. The second magical effect is to use it as a stand-in. At this moment, Fang Fan is equivalent to having an extra blood volume of 8 of them. It is not an exaggeration to say that there are 8 extra lives, plus 1 of his own lives, that is 9 lives. So powerful. The third magical effect is that Fang Fan can exchange power with several other gods and servants. Fang Fan's eyes couldn't help narrowing. If he could gather the power of the 8 gods and servants at the critical moment, wouldn't it be equivalent to having infinite combat power in an instant? If there is a strong sanctuary among the gods and servants of the gods, Fang Fan can also directly use the power of the sanctuary. Fang Fan's eyes sank secretly, and the smiles on his face gradually became more and more. If this is the case, it seems too cool. Wave after wave, simply invincible. The effect of the servant god is simply tailor-made for me. This is only 8 servant gods. If there are 80, 800, or even more. Fang Fan licked his lips, and then he couldn't help laughing bitterly, secretly thinking that he was thinking too much. These are all things that have no shadow, thinking about it so much, and it is meaningless. What we should do now is to lead the crowd to the place where the cultivators of the Chen Tian clan gather. Fang Fan directly put all the legions, pets, heroes, Zi Ling and others into the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and then strode away alone. Countless cultivators around saw Fang Fan being alone and wanted to take advantage of the chaos. Of course, they all ended up dying inexplicably. After rushing for about half an hour, I almost came to the agreed place. Fang Fan's eyes glanced around, and then he was silent. It's not just the practitioners of the Chen Tian clan, but even the practitioners of the third-rank forces of the Tianjian Palace, the Earth Demon Sect, and the 10,000 Demons Alliance have arrived. It seems that this is still a joint operation of the 4 companies. 4 factions, hundreds of thousands of cultivators gathered here, it's really a big deal. Fang Fan snorted coldly, a sarcastic expression gradually appeared on his face. If these hundreds of thousands of cultivators agreed to attack him at the same time, even if the legion under Fang Fan is fully armed, I am afraid that it is not enough. The law's light machine gunners' shooting speed is indeed fast enough, but after all, there are only 12 of them. In long-range shooting, they are naturally invincible, but if they are approached by the enemy, their combat power will be reduced by most. It's a pity that these people will only use such despicable means to force me to show up. If this is the case, it will bring me a lot of controllable space.